Welcome back, everybody. Jimmy Kolb here. I got another video for you today. We're going to be talking about the Pharrell F8, what I think of them, what I used to think of them, how my opinion has changed, and what the future holds for me. So let's get started. So today we're talking about bench shirts, primarily the Pharrell Customs F8. The F8 bench shirt, the band shirt that's been pretty dominant as far as band shirt type bench shirts. Now, my entire career, all the way back to the first time that I benched 600 pounds at the age of 18 or 19 years old, way back in 2008 or 2009. And then as recently as of June of 2021, with my 1,120 pound lift. It's been a fun 14 years, and I've used primarily polys, in particular the Titan Katana, the Super Katana. This particular one is a cool combination. This is actually a single ply chest with double ply diamond grid stitched sleeves. So that's actually kind of a cool combination. Haven't gotten to use this quite a bit yet because I have been busy practicing with the Pharrell F8 bench shirts. So we'll just start at the beginning. I got my first Pharrell F8 bench shirt from Anderson Powerlifting because now Anderson Powerlifting is the sole main distributor, the only distributor for Pharrell product. You can only buy their shirts or Pharrell's shirts through Anderson Powerlifting. And back in, I think, September of last year, so September of 2021, Kevin Pittman sent me my very first bench shirt from Pharrell. It was a triple ply, the red and black striped triple ply. And I didn't quite know what to make of it first. He had no idea how to use them. A lot of people don't because they're so new. And I had to put this thing on and just kind of go for it. And basically what was happening was, from what I was being told online by people I was messaging, asking about these things, was that you have to completely unlearn how you bench press and poly. When you bench press and poly, you can come down to your belly, you can tuck your elbows to the side, things like that. And you can't do that with these, so I was told. I was told that you have to flare your elbows out into the material, into the shirt, in order to make it work. You have to do everything the opposite of what I've been doing my entire career, benching with these poly shirts. And the very first workout I did in this triple ply Pharrell, I did 1,000 pounds for 10 reps to a one board. That really showed me kind of what potential they have. It also told me that I'm not surprised people are benching big weights with these things. I shouldn't be able to do. My best performance, actually the week prior to that lift that you're seeing here, I did 1,000 pounds for 8 reps to a 2 board in a polyester, in a double ply Evil Twin bench shirt. And then the weekend after, I wasn't really feeling the poly thing. My arms were hurting. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. And one of my buddies told me, hey, you have that Pharrell. If it allows you to do something today, go ahead and put it on. I put it on, and I eclipsed what I had done the week before by 2 reps, so 1,000 for 10 instead of 8, and also to a 1 board instead of a 2 board. And I had to stop only because I was winded, I was out of breath. My wrists were also starting to hurt from the wide grip that I use, so my wrists were starting to hurt on the inside, even with wrist wraps. After a while, under that much load for that long, wrists started to hurt a little bit. Fast forward a little ways, after September, I was trying to make these things work. Again, I wanted to keep going off that 1,000 for 10 and keep going. For some reason, I couldn't get the technique down, and I started to break down in form. I was still trying to do the whole flare into the shirt, and what was happening under that much weight, my left shoulder, was actually popping under all that weight. I actually had a small dislocation in my left shoulder. It was very small. My chiropractic friend, Jericho from Alive by Design, just down the road from where we live, was able to put it back in, and I was off for about 3 weeks of heavy lifting. So I had to kind of assess what was going on. I said, you know what? Screw this shit. I took them. I threw it in my closet. I went right back to what I know best, and that is the Titan Katana. In particular, the single ply Titan Katana. Like I mentioned before, this particular one I have right here is a single ply shirt, but it has double ply sleeves, so it's not a single ply anymore. This is now considered a multi-ply. I competed at York Barbell, let's see, that'd be late November, and I ended up bombing out. It was my 6th meet of 2021, and I had 5 meets in a row with success. I bombed out of that one with attempts of 1,070, 1,140, and 1,150. Went all the way up to 1,150 pounds in my single ply bench shirt. I bloated too much the night before, couldn't get anything to touch. Shit happens. Really pushing the fate button, trying to get, 6 meets in a row with success. Once in a while, because I'm still human, I'm going to bomb out. The way the sport works, that's the name of the game. Fast forward to 1 month, and now we're talking about December of this past year, just a few months ago, December of 2021. And I reconvened, I spoke with Rob Farrell, and he made me a couple of custom shirts, and we decided to go ahead and give it a shot. Let's just try to make these things work. There's potential there. I know there's potential there. Doing 1,000 pounds for 10 reps to a one board and only stopping because I got winded and my wrists were beginning to hurt. There is definitely potential here. We can make this work. He made me a few shirts and we continued on and things started to get better once I learned the technique. I began saying, you know what, screw this whole flaring out crap. I'm not going to do that anymore. So I started just benching normal. And I discussed this with Rob. The couple of shirts he made me, he said, hey, don't change a thing. Just bench how you always bench. You can tuck if you want to. Come low on the belly. Just do your normal technique. So with that, with collaborating with Rob and working with him and texting him and whatever, we finally got these things to work. And it started to click. I'm like, oh, wow, there it is. And the weight started to move. I think the very first set that I got it to move was a practice set with, I started at like 700 pounds and then worked my way up. Like I would start with something really reasonable and just see if I can get the technique down with something really, really light. With 8 or 850, I did a set of 5. And the first 3 reps, I was still doing the whole, trying to flare out and just bring it down, and it wasn't working. And out of instinct, I just bellied up and brought it low like I normally would, and it clicked. That was the set where it was like, there it is. And now I can feel the shirt opening how it's supposed to. Okay, now we got this. So it's the beginning of February of 2022. I have been working in these Farrell shirts for about 3 months, more realistically about 2.5 months, and the progress has been insane. I've been posting a lot of videos online, on Instagram, here on my YouTube channel, of my recent endeavors, going up into the 1200s, 1300s, and now on 3 different occasions, going up into the 1,400 pound range. The heaviest weight I've handled in one of these things that you all saw on my channel was 1,425 pounds, and it's only been just shy of 3 months training. I'm really excited to see what the future holds. So what do I actually think about them? Well, I think they're awesome. They're fun. They're easy to use when you know the technique. That's the thing. You have to learn how to use these things. They are not polys. They are not a poly bench shirt. The technique is completely different, relatively speaking, but it's also storing the energy different. Poly shirts are done by compression, whereas these band shirts, I think it's a lot more elastic energy. There's still some compression because there's a lot of material here on one of these Farrell F8s. But overall, my experience has been very positive. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do, not just in 3 months, but like 6 more months or 8 more months or even next year, where my numbers are going to be. My original distaste for all these band shirts. There's different companies out there right now. There's obviously the Farrell F8s, who's working with Anderson Powerlifting. You also have Darkside Ironwear through John Elick, who has the Viper shirts. And you also have, I think the original one was the Bench Daddy Mike Womack's design. My original distaste was the fact that back in the early days of equipped lifting, especially when I grew up in the sport in the 2000s, people would cheat it. They would take their bench shirts and they would they would sew in knee wraps or sew in elastic material or rubber bands or bungee cords to get more out of it, which is illegal. You cannot add elastic material to your equipment. And people were doing that and getting away with it or hiding it. There was a story I heard back when I was still lifting at Blackstone's gym in Ohio of a fellow that got some sort of big world record, and they inspected his equipment. and they felt something funny in between the layers of his double or triple ply shirt, and they actually had to cut this thing open. They found flex steel, strips of flex steel sewn into the chest of this shirt, so when the steel would bend, it didn't want to come back. It was like flexible steel. And then all of a sudden these shirts come out. The Bench Daddy one was the original one, where the entire shirt is made of nothing but this elastic material. Wraps get their elastic property from interwoven rubber, which is what these band shirts are made of. They're made of wrap material. So that's where my general disliking for the band shirts came from. I was against them for so long, but once I finally indulged, then obviously with Anderson collaborating with Rob and the F8 Customs coming together, I had an opportunity to go ahead and try it, and I'm really glad that I did. So I guess a big question would be, am I done with polys? And the answer is absolutely not. I still have a lot that I want to do in my poly bench shirts. As long as there's still the divisions, there's always going to be a place for poly bench shirts. You still have single ply, you still have multiply, and then the band shirts are classified as unlimited. So as long as you have these separate divisions, there's always going to be a place and time to bench and polys. I still want to, one of my all-time biggest goals as a competitive lifter is to bench 1,200 pounds in a single ply poly bench shirt. That's been my goal for about over a year now. And then when I got to 1120 June of last year, I realized, well, I could really do that. So no, I am not done with polys. I still have a lot I want to do, but for now I am fully committed to using the Pharrell F8s. I have a few different models, a few different sizes. This particular one is a double ply, and again, you can get single, double, and triple ply F8 bench shirts from Anderson Powerlifting, and that's the only place you can get them now. So kind of a rocky start there for a while, or mid last year. Didn't like them, couldn't make them work. I was convinced that these things were just not going to be my thing, that I wasn't built for them. Fast forward a few months after that, and here in the last few months now, and it's been a complete 180 change. I'm very, very excited, very happy that I have this opportunity. So if anybody has any direct questions about bench shirts, F8 shirts, it's the only band shirt that I have experience with are the F8s. I don't have experience with John stuff or the Bench Daddies. But if anybody has questions about them, they can drop comments below. Message me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @ColbStrong. You can message me on there. We can talk about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. The progress has been great. Thank you all for the support, and then we'll see you next time.